So now we'll focus on the threading in Java. Till now we have discussed the multitasking, thread, process, program in general. Now we are going to implement threading in Java. We all know that every Java program run through the main method. So main method runs on the main thread, which is run by JVM. So every program in Java run on the thread. The entry point of our program is main method. So that program should also be run by someone, right? So basically JVM creates a thread and run the main thread of our program. And there are two ways to create a thread in Java. First through the inheritance and second through the association. So we are going to learn both the ways to create a thread, through the inheritance also and through the association also. So let's get started. So now we'll create the thread with inheritance. So basically in this example, I'm trying to create thread with the help of inheritance. And in this particular example, I'm creating 3 thread class and I will run those thread from a single class. So basically 3 thread class will do different tasks and then I will run those tasks from a single thread class. So this is what I am trying to achieve here. So for this purpose I am using the Android Studio IDE. You can use anything like Eclipse or you can run this program through command prompt as well. So for the learning purpose I have already created all the classes. So I will just explain all these classes, how it works and how I'm calling it and what are the outputs we are going to receive. So basically I have created the first class thread1 that will extend thread. So if you want to create thread, there are two ways only, as I told earlier, either through the extending the thread class or through the implementing the runnable interface. So in the first way, we'll try to understand through the inheritance and then we'll try to implement runnable as well in the later stage of the tutorial. So I have created a class called thread1 that will basically extend the thread class. And now what I did, I have created a constructor also here that will basically receive a string variable and it will pass this string variable to superclass. So basically to the thread class. So basically I will try to put some name and I will try to get that name. And then I have a run method because thread class, as you know, that if you want to extend the thread and want to use it, so you have to basically override this run method. So I have created the run method and here I'm just printing the name of the thread. Okay, so get name basically what it will do, it will give the name of the thread. So you can see it is in the thread class. So basically it will give the thread name and I will pass that thread name and I will and this will pass to the superclass and then I can get this name and I can print it here. So that's what I am trying to achieve here. Similarly, I have created the thread2 class. I am doing the same stuff here as I have explained in thread1. Similarly, I have created the thread3 class as well and I did the same stuff here as well. So I have created 3 thread class and to demonstrate basically. So in the real world or in the real purpose, I am just trying to give the scenario that you can create multiple thread class that will basically do different things. Like someone will download the file from internet, someone will write the file into database, someone will create some services. So these kind of things you can achieve through different thread class. So now I have created a class that's name is run thread and here is our main method and I have created 3 thread object, thread1, thread2, thread3 as you can see. And as I told you that every thread class has a constructor, a parameterized constructor where I am passing the value. So in the thread1 I have passed the thread1, in thread2 I passed thread2 and in thread3 I pass thread3. So this value I have already passed. Now I am calling the thread. So to call the thread, although they have the method called run, but we call the thread.start. To run any thread, you have to call the thread.start. But actually it will execute with the run method. What is the story behind it? I will explain in a later part of tutorial. So basically I have called all three of the thread methods, and then what I did, I also try to get the name of that particular thread, I mean the main thread which it is running. Okay, so thread.current thread and the get name. So also I printed it like 20 times, and those will be printed like 5 times. Okay, so now I will try to execute this thread class. So let's see what output we have got. So you can see it ran first all the thread method, first thread, and then the second thread, and then the third thread, and then the main. So it went sequential this time. Okay, so as I told you, to run any of the thread, they need the cycles of processor, and whenever they will get in that order, they will basically run. So it is all depend on the OS when they will run which thread. So to demonstrate it, I will run it again, and this time you can see the output is different. As I told you, it will depend on the processors when they will give the cycles of processor to which thread. So now you can see first 5 is the thread 1, so thread 1 first executed, and then the cycles of processor got to thread 3, not to the thread 2, although we have called first to thread 2, but now you can see thread 3 have executed first, and then the thread 2, and then the main thread. So let's try it one more time and see the output. Okay, now if you can see the output is totally different. First thread 1 is called, and then all the main is called, and then we can see the print of thread 2, and then thread 3, again thread 1 and thread 2. So this is what I was trying to explain from start, that whenever the OS will give the cycles of processor to which thread, that thread will execute. So it all depend on OS when they want to prioritize which thread. So it will work like this way. In this example, basically we learned that 3 thread were basically executing 3 different tasks. Now we'll learn an example where all these threads will be executing the same task, and you can find the link in the description for all these tutorials data. So let's get into it. So in the earlier example, we are trying to achieve different tasks from different thread, and now we'll try to create a single thread, and we'll try to perform same task with that particular thread, and let's see what happens. So I have created the same thread class as I explained it earlier. So thread 1, that will extend thread class, and I am passing I have a parameterized constructor, so that will pass the thread name basically to the super class, and I am just printing the thread name 5 times. That's it. Here is the change. So now I have a run thread class which has a main method, and now I have created a thread. But now, as I told you, we have only one thread, so I have created 3 objects of that particular thread class, and passing thread 1, thread 2, and thread 3, and I have just called all those methods. Now I will just try to see how it goes. So see, now it first, I think thread 1 created, and it got the cycles of processor, and then thread 2, and in between thread 3 also got the cycles of processor, and then thread 2, and then thread 3. If I will run it again, maybe the output will be different. So now first thread 1 executed, then thread 3, and then thread 2, and then again thread 1. So as you can see here, either you will create the different thread class to execute the different tasks, or you will create a single thread class and you are trying to execute the same task again. Okay, it is all depend on the OS that they will prioritize which will run first and which will run second. So now we have seen the 2 examples of the thread class. Let me tweak it something different. So what will happen if I will try to call the run method on this thread object? Let's see. first it will run or not, that we have to check, and if it will run, what will be the output. So what I will do, I will comment this thing, and I will just try to call run method instead of start. And yes, it ran. And but the output is also the thread name, because we are passing the thread name here, and but output is very sequential. First, as we called thread 1, so only we get the output of thread 1, and then thread 2, and then thread 3. Let's do it one more time. Output is same. One more time, output is the same, and any number of times you will run it, you will get the same output. Why? Because if you try to run method on the thread class object, it will not create the new thread. It will be run on the main thread only. So all these method will be run on the main thread. So basically it will treat it as a normal method of this particular class, not as a thread class method. So that is the difference. So that's why if you run it as many times as you want, you will see the sequential output, because you can see here also, right? You have first called the thread 1 method, and thread 2, and thread 3. So first time it will print 5 times for the thread 1, second it will print 5 times for thread 2, and then for thread 3. So this is what happening here. And this is a very important interview question as well. So sometimes interviewer asks that if you run method instead of start method, what will be happen? Does that work or not? If that will work, what will be the output, and why it will be the output? So of course it will work, as you have seen already. And what will be the output? Output will be the sequential, because it will just treat this method as a normal method of that particular class. So I hope you have got this. So now we'll try to create the thread with the association. Basically we'll try to implement the runnable interface, and we'll try to create the thread in the next tutorial.